Now welcome to another Sunday commentary, which means this will once again be a sort of merger of a Star Wars and real world topic, though maybe more so the latter and not the former this time. And the overall topic will be balance here, which I think tends to be one of the more misunderstood concepts in Star Wars, mainly because there are two ways or scales to look at it, those being the larger picture or the macro level, where the balance of the Force is the absence of dark side users, or the absence of those who are so selfish and powerful that they force their will upon and rule over others or even the rest of the galaxy, with Palpatine or Sidious being a prime example of this. Balance on this level is not equal number light side to dark side users or equal number Jedi to Sith, nor is it Force users learning how to wield both sides to achieve some sort of gray middle ground between the two. Someone who is genuinely and only going to serve society, as the Jedi do, have no need for the selfishness of the dark side, none. Their intentions are purely, what can I do in order to achieve and keep a peaceful society, not what can that society ultimately do for me. Which, yeah, maybe sounds very similar to a quote you've heard elsewhere, which is where and how we'll start our conversation about the other type of balance that Star Wars is about, the one we'll be talking mainly about in this video, which is the personal choices we all make, or how we must decide or pick between selfless and selfish behaviors or choices that will impact others, and how much we should expect others to do for us at the same time. And as I touched on briefly in last week's video, which has led to this one, when you boil down or strip everything away from most political discussions these days, they come down to a debate over how much personal responsibility should I have to bear for others, or how much am I supposed to do for society versus how much should I be doing for myself, and how much should society be taking care of the people, and how much should people be expected to take care of themselves? Which sort of comes down to the question of what is an actual fair society? One where we strive to have the same starting line for everyone and the race is mainly up to you? Or is it one where we all have the same finish line that we're all sort of corralled to cross at the same time? Is it fair to have someone cross the finish line with ease, to have better running shoes because of inherited wealth, for example, to be doing victory laps while someone else is struggling to even get off the blocks and start the race? And what about those who just want a piggyback ride to the finish line? Those who don't want to contribute to society at all, they just want to benefit from it. These are, I don't want to say impossible questions to answer, but they're certainly not easy ones, though I'm sure many out there listening right now are firmly on one side of this issue or the other. But that doesn't mean there isn't common ground to be had here, which is what I talked about in last week's video, though I think some didn't entirely get what I was trying to say. They seem to think I was implying you should always take a centralist view or head for the middle ground on all issues just so we can have peace or find compromise. And along those same lines, I always get accused of fence-sitting by some, because I think any valid discussion is one where both sides get a say, where they listen to each other and then they try to have a civilized debate. And in my videos, I do usually try to look at things from all sides. Because the thing is, you're never going to change someone's mind by yelling at them or bullying them or forcing them to see things your way. You're only going to entrench them further and farther into their beliefs, which is exactly what's happening today. Two sides screaming at each other, accusing the other side of being anything from idiotic to evil, which only pushes the two sides further apart and further towards the extremes and less likely to ever even think of coming together. However, what I was saying in last week's video, despite the fact that yes, I did talk about compromising from time to time, is we should strive to find common ground and begin the discussion from there, not to keep shouting at each other from the two sides. Which doesn't necessarily mean finding something that's in the middle of the two views, but rather is one we can both agree upon. For example, any rational individual will agree that we should all strive for a better society. We should all do our part to at least some extent to make society better as well. There is our common ground to begin the discussion from. That said though, in a perfect world, a discussion wouldn't even be needed because everyone would simply find their own balance. They would strive for a better overall society and be allowed to live their own life as they see fit, within reason of course. Everyone would willingly do their part while also not being held back from chasing their goals and their dreams. We wouldn't need laws or rules to dictate how much people should give to others or how they should treat others, because they would just give and treat others well and how they should be. But of course, we don't live in a perfect world, and we never will. No matter what we do, there will always be evil and selfish people who only seek to take and destroy, and who will upset that greater balance. We'll always have Sith who want it all and will do whatever it takes to get it. So yes, we need laws to stop these people. We need laws to stop and punish criminals as well, who hurt or steal or do things we can all agree are wrong. But how far should our laws go? What things should be punished? What things should people be compelled to do? What about people who just aren't nice to each other? What about people who are rude or mean or don't want to recognize your beliefs or your life choices, or that maybe even hate you for them, or say they hate you but don't actually do anything about it? And before going on, let me make it clear, I do not condone hatred at all. I'm not saying by any stretch that it's good to hate people, and anyone who acts out on their hate and harms others should, of course, be punished. But what do we do about people who just don't like each other, or again, they don't like how other people live or what their beliefs are? Does compelling people to be kind to each other by enacting and enforcing laws actually make for a genuinely good and kind society? And along those same lines, does having a society that forces everyone to give to others create a genuinely caring and compassionate society? How truly kind is a society that says to its people that you have to give and be nice or else? How does a kind society that believes everyone is equal and should be treated fair punish people who don't want to be kind or play nice with everyone else or the system? And personally here, I live by some very simple philosophies, one of which being that you don't need a reason to help somebody, but you certainly better have a good reason if you plan on hurting someone, and there's rarely ever a good reason for that beyond defending yourself from someone who wants to hurt you first. In other words, I don't need anyone to tell me to be nice or to help others. I don't need to be compelled to do that. That is something I inherently want to do. Every time I interact with someone else, be it on the internet or face-to-face, I keep in mind that this is another human being who has their own hopes, fears, desires, wants, and so on, that this is a person going through life just like I am, and for all I know, they're having the worst day ever right now. So when people are mean to me or come at me, even when there seems to be no reason for it at all, I still try to give them the benefit of the doubt at first. I try to be nice and hopefully they will eventually reciprocate. But if you go too far, yes, I will stand up and or defend myself. I certainly have a point where someone's irrational behavior towards me warrants a response of some kind, though I still have no desire to hurt someone, be that physically or mentally. And look, by no means am I trying to preach to you or sound like I'm some type of saint. I have made plenty of mistakes and done things that, intentionally or not, have hurt other people in my 43 years of life. I certainly have. I'm a human being. I have screwed up. I get angry sometimes. But one of my goals every single day that I wake up is to try to be a better person today than I was the day before on as many levels as I can. Now, I don't succeed every day. I maybe don't succeed most days, but I do try. I do want to be a better person and a better member of society. I want to find that balance between the things I want out of this life, my personal goals, and helping those around me, or helping those I feasibly can, considering just how many people there are in the world that need help at just any given time. Though again here, I don't think we should all be Jedi-like, where all we do and live for is to help others and the greater good. I don't think we should focus entirely on just how much suffering there is in the world, or we would all be in a constant state of depression. A degree of selfishness, free of just looking for instant gratification, that is a good, normal, and healthy thing, I think. Doing something for the fun of it and because we want to make life worth living is what makes life worth living. Not that I think the Jedi way is a terrible one, like some seem to believe it is. Too many look at what they deny themselves instead of all the joy they get from helping others. But that's a discussion I've gone into elsewhere and that I'll let drop for now. Anyway here, the thing is, I don't want to be a good person because society demands it of me and has made laws that I'm forced to comply with. Making me behave like a good person doesn't actually make me a good person. Instead, I want to be a good person because that's what I want to be. And I realize my selfishness can impact others, and though there are things I want out of this life, I also realize there are other people who want and need things as well, that I have to find a balance between taking what I want and allowing others to have what they want and need as well. In other words, I feel like finding my own personal balance is the best way I can live my life, as well as the best way to serve society. And if anything, I think it's society's job to allow people to be individuals and the person they want to be. That it should be safeguarding the individual, not trying to mold people into something that fits society's need. To some degree, maybe a large degree, people should get out of life what they put into it. Our society should not be trying to limit people within reason, of course. And I keep saying that because if it's your desire to go out and kill people, if you want to be a murderer, obviously that's not okay. That is morally wrong. We can almost all agree on that except for the murderers. And discussions can certainly be had about other things as well, like perhaps those who amass fortunes in the billions and billions of dollars. But anyway, flat out, we all get one chance at this life. We all are sentient beings aware of our own mortality, and hence we want to do something with this life. We want to do anything from enjoy it to find purpose, if not, hopefully both. We don't want to be little more than cogs in a great wheel. We want to experience as much as we can and to find meaning. And that's because we have evolved and progressed past the point where the purpose of life is just to keep life itself going. Though I'd argue that's still important, and why striving for the best society we can build is indeed important. Which is so that future generations, maybe, hopefully, don't waste so much of their lives arguing with each other and fighting and or warring with each other and throwing their lives away, trying to figure these things out. Though I fear that will never be the case. I fear we will always think the grass is greener on the other side, that another system or way of things would be better than what's currently in place. That just seems to be human nature. Which again is why I think finding common ground in the here and now is important. Why I think seeking personal balance is important. Remembering that we're all in this together, that we all want our own things out of life is important. And I really think we get so lost in the details sometimes, while other times we focus so much on the big picture and believing that some sort of one-size-fits-all approach can work for absolutely everyone, that we could have a flawless and perfect system when no matter what system is implemented, it's still going to be run by flawed human beings, though hopefully human beings who are encouraged and motivated to work on themselves to again find a balance within, so that we can one day find that larger balance. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. And I know this was a bit all over the place, but I didn't want to make it too long and go too much into depth with all these things. And hopefully there was some sort of unifying thread here somewhere that makes sense to you, which is that trying to find your own personal balance to be a better person, really, is the first step to creating something better for all of us. Anyway, time for you to tell me what you think of anything and everything I had to say, so take to the comments below and let's talk. And until next time, thanks for watching.